You're writing this down as I go through it. 5 divided by 3,279. Now I'm going to teach this as if you are lost with long division or you've never done it before, okay? If you feel confident, go ahead and try the problem while I'm going through it. So here's how you would do this. You ask yourself, can 5 go into 3? It cannot. So I move to the next one. Can 5 go, and by the way, technically, since 5 can't go into 3, you put a 0 up here since it can't fit in. 0 times 5 is 0. Changes to subtraction, and you subtract down. 3 subtract 0 is 3. Bring down the 2. Can 5 fit into 32 without going over? Yes. How many times? It can fit in 6 times without going over. 6 groups of 5. 6 times 5 is 30. Change the sign and subtract down. 2 subtract 0 is 2, and the 3's cancel out. Bring down the next number. Can 5 fit into 27? It can. 5 times without going over. 5 times 5 is 25. Change the sign, subtract down, and bring down the last number. Can 5 fit into 29? It can. It can fit in 5 times without going over. 5 times 5 is 25 with a remainder of 4. So you may have learned in elementary school to go R4. Nothing wrong with that. What I would like you to do today is realize that this is really an answer of 655 plus, there's a remainder of 4 plus 4/5. All right, so most students I have found do pretty good when this number is a single number. But when we make that number into a double number like 31, there seems to be a little more confusion. Can 31 fit into 6? No. So can't fit in, so I'm going to put a 0. And 0 times 31 is we have a 0. Subtract down, bring down the next number. Can 31 fit into 62? How many times can it fit in? So I put a 2 above. You do have to be neat with this process, and you multiply. Well, how do you multiply? 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Change your sign and subtract down. Bring down the next number. 31 cannot fit into 5, so I put a 0. And 0 multiplied by both numbers would be 0 in both cases. Change the sign, subtract down, and bring down the next number. Can 31 go into 54? Can go in once without going over. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Change the sign, subtract, bring down the next number. Now here's where I saw some confusion last hour. Students are like wanting to pull out a calculator to figure out how many times can 31 go in. Here's how I was taught. So as approximation, how many times can 3 go into 23 without going over? 3 times what is really close to 23? 7. 8 would go over. So let's try this. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 3 is 21. When we subtract, let's see what we get for an answer. We want it to be less than 31. 9 subtract 7 is 2. 3 subtract 1 is 2. So good, this number is less than 31. That number is correct then. I've used my last number, so it's a remainder of 22. My final answer is 2017 plus 22 over 31. Try the next one with your partner. It's our last one. I'm going to give you 1 minute to get a head start, and then as you work through it, after I begin, please check your work with mine. Begin. Working with your partner. Bless you. It is not necessary for you to put a 0 above the 6, but that's technically what it is when you don't have a number there. 17 does fit into 64, and 17 fits in 3 times. 3 times 7 is 1, carry 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 additional is 51. Subtract, bring down the next number. So how many times can 17 fit into 35? I think of 17 as kind of being close to a 15 or 20, and it's easier to count by 20s. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40. I'm going to guess that even though 140 is above this number, because 17 is less than 20, I'm going to try 7, an estimation of 7. 7 times 7 is 49, so leave the 9 and carry the 4. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4 more is 11. When I subtract, if this number is less than 17, I chose the correct number. So I cannot, this is where it gets kind of tricky, I cannot take 9 away from 5. So it becomes a 15, and I borrow from the 3, take 9 away from 15 to end up with 6, 1 away from 2 to end up with 1. So I did choose the correct number because this quantity is less than 17. Okay, let's count again. This is close to 20. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60. I think it's going to be between 8 and a 9. I'm going to try 8. I'm going to do it with a pencil. And when I try 8, after I get a number, if I subtract, if that quantity is less than 17, I did it right. If it's greater than 17, it means I can get one more group of 17 in there. So I would bump this up to a 9. Let's try 8. 8 times 7 is 56. Carry the 5. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 5 is 13. Now when I subtract, I can see this number is greater than 17. That tells me that 8 is not the correct number. I need to bump up 1. So 9 times 7 is 63. Carry your 6. 9 times 1 is 6. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 6 is 15. Change your sign and subtract down. Now I know that 9 groups of 17 is 156, so that will work perfect for this. 9 again. 9 times 7 is 63. Multiply, add the 6, and subtract down. So here's my remainder after I've used my last digit. So it's a remainder of 10. 3,799 plus 10 over 17.